So I think the court may have heard the testimony a little bit differently from the defendant. I could tell a distinct, comprehensive narrative. Beach basically was going eastbound on Church Street, passed a motorcycle, looked in his side view, said, hey, that thing doesn't have a license plate, I don't think. Turned around, decided to investigate further, ultimately got up close and personal with it, verified that it didn't have a license plate, and he testified that the individual that they arrested, which was Mr. Messina, was dressed identically to the person who had been operating the motorcycle. There's nothing in the law that says the officers have to have continuous visual contact with the subject. It's important, don't get me wrong. I found somebody not guilty years ago of speeding because it was like, I don't know, it was dark and it was 16.
Mr. Acosta, is there anything that you want me to consider before I impose a sentence?
If I might, I'm not detesting anything, but I did voluntarily get out the vehicle. I just was asked several times before I did it, and I went right down to the ground with them and told them I wasn't resisting. They said, thank you for not resisting. So actually, they didn't have to pull me out. They just had to, they told me they're going to break my window or get out. And I said, I got right out.
So tell me what you learned.
Well, I did write something so far. And if I could read it, maybe that'll help you see what I've learned.
Certainly.
Okay. I started off because I didn't know the officers' names and there were several of them there. So I was going to say to the officers of the Michigan State Police Department, I said, I want to start off by saying how deeply and sincerely and devastating sorry for this blatant mistake I've made. I want to apologize for the stupidity I displayed by assuming some Facebook post could have convinced me that I have the right to travel. I want to acknowledge that I was idiotic to even question my rights, fully knowing that my license was not valid in the first place, making me automatically guilty of a crime. I have learned my lesson and am thankful to the agency and both of you for being so merciful and blessing me with the chance to rectify the situation without losing my freedom. I'm sincerely disappointed in my actions and not fully submitting and possibly making any of the officers feel at ease. I know the job, or should I say, the service and career and the duties you all carry out are very dangerous and very, very necessary to the democracy we hold dearly. Again, my deepest and sincerest apologies. Much love and respect, Citizen Daniel Fernando Acosta I. Thank you all, and especially for your service.
Well said, Mr. Acosta.
It's 26 TRD 02043. Come up and have a seat, sir.
I'm here especially for dinner.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. That's nonsense. Okay, so here's the deal. The defendant's present in the courtroom today without counsel. Ms. Yeager's here on behalf of the state of Ohio. The last time we were here, the court granted the state's motion to continue over the defendant's objection, and we're scheduled for a trial today. Now, I do have, and this was filed at 10:28 this morning, what appears to be a demand for discovery. Specifically, it reads as follows. Video footage at speed was proving no operation of motor vehicle to show that the officer Beach has violated my constitutional rights, illegal search and seizure, also falsified official government document and perjury. Okay, so obviously you just filed this today. And I'm assuming you didn't even know it was filed until I just read it, right?
Your Honor, I saw it when he walked in, and I think he said something like it goes with his flash drive that he provided.
Do you already have that do you have the body cam footage that you're talking about?
He has not requested discovery from us.
Okay, until this document.
That wasn't a request for the discovery. I was just submitting evidence, just video evidence. That's all it was.
Do you have video that you want to play at the trial?
This is the trial, right?
This is your trial?
Yeah.
Or are you saying...
I put a motion in to submit evidence. Here's a video of the submitted evidence of the Speedway, when me and the Speedway at the time.
Okay.
Supposedly operating a motor vehicle.
Okay, so you have video that you want to play that was not generated by the officers, correct?
This was generated by the place of...
But you got camera footage from Speedway?
Yeah, this is it.
Okay, you just went to the store and said, hey, can I get a copy of your video footage from that day?
Yeah, the lady, the manager working there, the woman who works there, she has a right to either, like if there's a vehicle on the property, she has a right to tell, hey, that vehicle has to get off the property, you know?
Sure.
So, and she has a right to give the video footage out too. So I asked her, hey, do you mind if I get the video footage of that night? And she said, yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, so that's what you have?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as the body cam from the officer that was involved. You don't have that, right?
That I don't really need that. I just have the video footage. This is what I needed. Me inside the store at the time of the supposed alleged offense that didn't take place.
Okay. Well, so you're saying that basically what you filed this morning, you don't need that anymore?
No, that's a motion to file for this right here. A motion to
Oh, I
submit
see.
this video.
Motion to submit evidence is how it's titled. Okay, so it's not a discovery demand. So are you ready to go for your trial today?
I was just ready to take care of this. Like, am I allowed to?
So here's how the trial works. The state has the burden of proof. You're not required to put on any evidence, call any witnesses, or even testify on your own behalf. You're presumed to be not guilty. The state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed the offense of driving while under noncompliance suspension and improper display of license plates. Now, the way that the trial goes is, because the state has the burden, they go first. So they'll call the witnesses that they feel will have, can testify to the violations. When each witness is finished testifying on behalf of the prosecution, you'll have a chance to question them. It's called cross-examination. Now, once the state rests its case, then you get to put on your case, and you can call witnesses, you can testify on your own behalf, you can play that video for me as long as you authenticate it. And then after all that's said and done, then I'll render my verdict and make a decision as to whether or not the state has met its burden of proof. So do you understand how the trial works?
I do, sir.
Okay, but at this time, I'm going to go ahead and direct Ms. Yeager to call her first witness.
State would call Officer Beach.
All right. Well, wait, before we get started, you can keep coming up here, Mr. Officer Beach. Mr. Messina, you don't have the right to court-appointed counsel, but you have the right to hire an attorney of your choosing. Was it your intention to waive your right to a lawyer?
I was here to represent myself, pro se.
Okay, so you are waiving your right to counsel?
If I don't, do I have time to get counsel?
I'm fairly certain the state would object to a continuance, but do you want to, see, you're not entitled to a lawyer for free. You'd have to pay one. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Are you telling me you want to go out and hire a lawyer?
If I had a decent amount of time to get a lawyer, I mean, if for a citation, I guess I would like that, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll
But-
probably end up rescheduling this thing if I grant your
If we
motion.
take care of it now, I don't believe that you guys have any,
Well, you either have to say, yes, I want to waive my right to an
I'll go ahead and
attorney.
represent myself today.
All right, I'll accept your waiver. Please swear in the witness. You may inquire, Ms. Yeager.
Thank you. Officer Beach, how long have you been with the Newark Police Department?
11 years.
Okay. And were you working for them on March 18th of this year?
I was.
What shift or hours were you working that day?
I'm assigned to third shift patrol, which is from 10 o'clock at night until 8 a.m. in the morning, Sunday through Wednesday.
Okay. And were you wearing a uniform of the day like you are in court?
I was.
And were you driving a marked patrol car with a working visible light bar?
Correct, I was.
And did your duties on that day include responding to calls for service and traffic enforcement?
Correct.
Okay. Have you had all training required by the department?
I have.
And I'm going to direct your attention to a little after midnight on March 18th. About where were you on patrol at that time?
That night, specifically, I was traveling eastbound on West Church Street, between North 21st Street and North 11th Street in the city of Newark.
And while you were on patrol about that time, did a vehicle catch your attention?
A motorcycle did, yes.
Okay. And what about the motorcycle caught your attention?
So at night, it is routine as I pass vehicles, as they're going in the opposite direction of me. I always look at my rear view mirror, or side mirror, I should say. I look for things of, do they have a license plate light? Do they have a license plate displayed on the vehicle? Things that would institute a traffic violation, that it could be a traffic stop being made. What caught my attention specifically to this motorcycle was the fact that there was no rear license plate being displayed on the motorcycle.
Okay. And how fast was the motorcycle going?
It's a 35 mile per hour zone. I visually estimated, about 35 miles an hour.
And was it on Church Street?
Correct. It was westbound on Church Street, going towards North 21st Street.
Okay. And just to be clear, it's on the public roadway, not sidewalk, grass?
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
So since you didn't see a license plate, did you try to initiate a traffic stop?
At that time, what I did is I turned around the motorcycle and the rider, had pulled into the Speedway gas station, right there at the corner of North 21st Street and West Church Street. The rider had got off the motorcycle, went inside of the convenience store. At that point, I decided to pull through the parking lot to once again confirm what I saw on the roadway, when it was in operation. And in fact, there was no license plate on this motorcycle. And I was able to confirm, and sometimes the tags will be tucked up underneath the rear fender or something, but there was no license plate on this motorcycle at all. So I pulled out of the parking lot, I went back down the street, and I sat in a business parking lot for a few moments, and I asked for some additional officers to respond to the area, as I was planning on conducting a traffic stop. And due to the fact that it's common for motorcycles to fail to stop during traffic stops, it's easy to take off or pursuit to initiate. That's why I wanted additional officers in the area.
Okay, and then you said the motorcycle and the rider stopped at the Speedway. How many occupants were on the motorcycle?
One.
Okay. And this may sound like a dumb question, but this Speedway, is that a business establishment?
It is.
Is there any residents on the Speedway property?
There is not.
Is there a parking lot on that Speedway?
There is.
Okay, and is it intended to be used by, public for vehicle travel, vehicles parking as they go inside?
Customers, yeah.
Okay. And this Speedway and this part of Church Street, is that in the city of Newark and Licking County, Ohio?
It is.
Okay. So after you were there and you were waiting for other officers, did other officers respond?
Other officers responded to the area as I was watching the motorcycle the entire time as the rider came back out of the convenience store and got back onto the motorcycle, started the motorcycle up, and proceeded out to an entrance exit point, which would have been North 21st Street. Left turn was made, which would have been at this point going southbound. At that point, I pulled out and I had to travel westbound on Church Street to get to the intersection, make a left turn to travel southbound on 21st Street. And at that point, there was no motorcycle. It was gone. My window was down, so what had caught me off guard was the fact that I didn't hear a heavy acceleration, something of that matter. And so I continued southbound on 21st to see if, at the top of the hill, to see if it was going towards West Main Street or if it had cut down another side road. And I have not seen this motorcycle anywhere. So at that point, I radioed Officer Garber, who was in the area, to check the Speedway, as I was not seeing this motorcycle. A few moments later, Officer Garber advised that he had located the motorcycle back behind the building, and it was not occupied at that point in time.
Did you return to the Speedway?
I did.
And did you again view the motorcycle at this point?
Yes, it was the same motorcycle that I'd seen previously on Church Street, operating on public right-of-way. It was the same motorcycle that I'd seen in the parking lot. It's the same motorcycle that pulled behind the building and now is not occupied.
Okay, and does it still have no license plate?
Still no license plate.
Okay. So were you able to determine who operated this motorcycle, who got it there?
Yeah. So I was able, at that time, I obviously was able to, observe what the rider was wearing when it was on the roadway, what he was wearing while he was at the Speedway, at the gas station. And when we began to look in the area, my first thought was the rider had exited the motorcycle and maybe took off running through a backyard, something of that nature. But we decided to go inside of the Speedway. At that way, we determined that there was someone in the bathroom. And it was later determined that it was, in fact, the rider that was on that motorcycle in the bathroom that I can identify across from me here at the defendant's table as Tyler Messina, who was the rider of that motorcycle that night.
Okay. So you said you recognized what he was wearing on the motorcycle the first time he came to Speedway and when he left Speedway. Was the person in the bathroom wearing those same clothes?
Correct.
And that was the man seated to my right?
Correct.
Okay. And you later identified him as Tyler Messina?
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, let the record reflect the witness identified the defendant.
Record will so reflect.
So based on your observations, did you speak with Mr. Messina about why you were approaching him about this motorcycle not having a plate?
I did.
Okay. And were you able to get his identification in some way?
Yeah, it took a bit. Tyler was rather uncooperative for a while. He was detained due to obviously the investigation of the traffic infraction that incurred. I ran through my mobile leads terminal and discovered that he did not have a valid license. He was under a license suspension. He does not have a motorcycle endorsement to be operating a motorcycle on a public roadway, and of course the fact that the motorcycle did not display a license plate.
Okay. So you said you're in your mobile units, that's in your cruiser?
Correct.
And that pulls up a driver record for whatever suspect you put their information in, correct?
Correct.
And whenever you submit any citations or anything to the court, do you also submit the record as you viewed it that day?
Yes, it's so the record that is viewed in our car. It pulls from the Ohio BMV. So a driver abstract or a driver record is exactly what you're going to see if you pull it from the BMV itself or the court file.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
I'm going to show you what I have marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1,
Where's that?
right there.
Okay, what are you showing me? Driver record?
Yep.
No, what's that got to do?
Well, we're going to find that out. Mr. Beach, this is marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. Can you go ahead and flip through that and let me know when you're done?
So this is exactly what I was talking about. It's rather long. So this is a driver record history specifically regarding to Tyler Messina.
Okay. And does the name, date of birth, social security number, does that match that Mr. Messina gave you on March 18th?
It does.
Okay. And what is the status, according to that BMV report, of his driver's license?
It shows that he is suspended.
Okay. And what kind of suspension?
He should be under a FRA non-compliance suspension.
Okay. And does it list any endorsements for him?
It would if there was any, but there's no endorsements.
Okay. And then if you look under, I believe I highlighted in the first one that says a non-compliance suspension.
Correct.
What are the FRA dates that are listed?
It was recorded on 11/13 of 2023, and that is from 12/22 of 23 until 12/22 of 2028. So with this being 2026, it's still a valid suspension.
Okay, so he would need an SR22?
Correct.
Okay. And does it say next to that suspended or does it say compliance?
It says non-compliance.
Okay. Thank you. And is this a true and accurate depiction of the driver record that you saw that night?
Looks nearly the same.
Absent the sticker and highlights,
yeah, identical.
obviously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
May I say something?
Do you have an objection, or do you have a question?
Well, I have objection, a few of them, but the main ones are it's nearly the same. Well, what's nearly the same about it? And what's
That's going to be part of your cross-examination when you have your opportunity to question the witness. Ms. Yeager, you may continue.
Was the only thing that you saw different the highlights and the exhibit sticker?
Yes.
Were there any other differences that you noted?
No. I mean, driving history is exactly the same that it would be on leads than it is on that BMV driver abstract.
Thank you. Did you ultimately issue a citation to Mr. Messina?
I did.
Okay, and what did you cite him for?
I cited him for three things. One would be the FRA non-compliance suspension. The second would have been the operating a motorcycle or vehicle without a motorcycle endorsement. The third would have been operating a motor vehicle without license plate.
Nothing further at this time for Officer Beach.
Okay, so now, Mr. Messina, it's your turn to ask the witness questions. Now, it doesn't take the form of you telling him what you say happened. It takes the form of you asking him questions, because you'll be able to testify on your own later on. But what questions do you have for Officer Beach?
Officer Beach, how you doing?
Good.
A couple of questions for you.
Okay.
So when you were traveling eastbound on West Main Street,
Correct.
You said you had seen a man.
West Church Street?
West Church Street.
Yeah.
You seen a man on a bike.
Motorcycle.
Okay. All right. Now, what time was that?
Approximately around midnight.
Midnight. And was this man committing any type of traffic offense?
He was.
Now, so when you passed him, he was coming towards you, and you seen him committing offense?
Correct, I did.
Now, what was that?
He was operating a motor vehicle without a license plate.
Okay. Now, it was dark that night, right?
Correct,
And you're going about 35,
roughly.
and say he's going about 35, right? Mm-hmm. And so you just seen a normal driver coming down the road, and you just said, hey, you glanced over and said, oh, there's no license plate. And being that it's late, you didn't just think that maybe you just had it, overlooked it, or you for sure seen that?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the fact that I turned around to make sure what I seen the first time was accurate. That's why I pulled back into the parking lot of the Speedway to confirm that, in fact, what I seen on the roadway was true.
Now, was this man verifiable? Like you knew and seen who this person was?
Considering he was the only one on the motorcycle, yes.
Okay, and what time did you pull back into the Speedway to do your check, you said?
This was all sequential to when I passed the motorcycle on West Church Street.
Yeah, but did you, like, your catalog says that at 17:51, so that'd be 12:17, 51 seconds.
Correct.
That you had called in for a white male with Carhartt 6 foot tall. So being that you said he's 6 foot tall, and how did you know his height, and how could you visual his height, being that he was on a motorcycle supposedly?
The fact that he had got off the motorcycle and walked into the convenience store and walked back out. It was an approximate height, just like the citation that states that approximately at 0015, so it's an approximate time.
So where was you sitting at when you seen this man enter and leave?
I was actually sitting to the east of the Speedway. I was in a Edward Jones parking lot.
Now, where's that at?
To the east of the location.
So is it like across to the east, or is it directly next to it, or?
Directly in line with the parking lot.
All right, now, that's an automotive sales place?
No, Edward Jones is a financial investment.
Financial investment.
Yeah.
Now, okay, well, your statement of facts says that it was about 12:15 when you witnessed this, and I just don't know what the time gap was. In between that, I didn't know what was going on in between that time gap there.
It says approximately, and what was going on during that time gap was I was observing you walking in and out of the convenience store and getting back on the motorcycle and operating it.
Where was the bike at when the man got back on the motorcycle?
It was at a gas pump facing westbound towards
Is that
21st
before or
Street.
after he entered the store?
Well, you parked the motorcycle facing westbound and got off the motorcycle and walked into the convenience store, and it stayed in that spot until you got back onto the motorcycle, started it up, and pulled away.
All right. Well, when did your officer Garber, is it Taylor?
Officer Garber.
Garber. When did he initiate that he had found a motorcycle?
He advised that he located your motorcycle within a minute, not even that, of you leaving the gas station and pulling back behind the backside of it.
I thought he was behind the man on the motorcycle as he left, and you were pursuing him down 21st Street.
There was no pursuit.
You said that you followed a man on a motorcycle.
Correct.
And if that's true, then how could the motorcycle be parked behind the gas station at the same time you're traveling to pursue this alleged operation of a motor vehicle?
If you look at my statement, it states that I believe, I'm just going off of recollection here, that I had lost sight of the motorcycle as it pulled onto 21st Street. As I just stated in my testimony, I didn't feel that it was plausible that the motorcycle could have gotten that far due to when I pulled out to where I was. That's why I had Officer Garber check the location of the Speedway and located the motorcycle
Now,
there.
did you take a left or a right when you came out of Speedway?
Oh, when I came out, I didn't pull in the Speedway parking lot.
When you came out of it, not pulling in.
When I came out?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you
I would have made a
followed-
left from West Church Street onto North 21st Street traveling southbound in the direction that I witnessed, observed the motorcycle.
From Speedway?
Correct.
Okay, well, you told me earlier that you was in a financial institution's parking lot.
Correct.
So which one is it?
Objection, Your Honor. He clearly stated he was never in the Speedway parking lot.
You'll have redirect. Objection will be overruled.
Well, if he said that he was.
Can you just restate your question? I think he was confused by your question.
Which way did you take, a left or a right, when you came out of Speedway parking lot?
I was not in the Speedway parking lot.
Okay. So just making sure you know what you're saying. So if you weren't in the Speedway parking lot, right?
Correct.
You, about how long, how far away would you say that your car was sitting from the Speedway?
Approximately 300 feet.
300 feet. Now, that's a good distance. Is there anything in the way of your line of fire to see?
In my view?
Yeah.
No, there's no obstructions. It was a clear view from where I was sitting to where your motorcycle was sitting in the underneath the canopy of the gas station.
So there's pretty much a clean, straight shot to see this vehicle riding, right? To all of a sudden just disappear. You said that this motorcycle he just vanished all of a sudden. And in Ohio, when you're operating a motor vehicle and you're pursuing a vehicle, and you have to have full contact with a motor vehicle and a person who's operating it, and no gaps in between.
Okay.
So I was wondering.
He's testifying.
Yeah, I'll sustain the objection. Let's get back to questions.
Okay. Your ticket has issued a citation to me at, let's see, March 18th at 0027. That's 1227.
Correct.
And I wanted to question that you had put a 2-lane road on 21st Street. That was operating.
The citation states west. It actually has a spelling error that I just noticed. It says West Crutch Street. It should have said Church Street, at or near North 21st Street. It's a general area. So West Church Street at or near North 21st Street.
Now, is that bit of land there, the area there, is that a taxable piece of, is that a taxable city limits or a township?
What that area is? It's a public roadway in the city of Newark.
Is it taxable?
Your Honor, how is that even relevant?
No,
It's not relevant. I'm going to sustain the
All right.
objection. Next question.
Okay. All right, so you give this citation to me about what time you said?
We've already gone over the timeline, so let's move on to your next question.
All right,
And it's okay if you don't have any other ones.
I got some more.
I figured you would.
So pretty much you're saying that you seen this man operating a vehicle?
yes, Mr. Messina, I've seen you operate the motorcycle that day, or that night, that morning.
That morning?
That morning. It would be morning time after.
All right, well, I guess, Your Honor, I'm going to be done with my questions because I feel like...
You don't even have to tell me why you're done with your questions. You can just tell me that you're finished. Okay?
Yeah.
Ms. Yeager, any redirect?
Yes, Officer Beach, when you spoke with Mr. Messina that night, did he admit that it was his motorcycle there? Or that he's the one who brought it there?
So he stated that he was pushing the motorcycle down West Church Street when I initially seen him operating or driving the motorcycle. So he was in possession of that motorcycle that night.
And then in the short couple of minutes that this transpired, did you see any other motorcycles on the roadway?
There was no other motorcycle on that roadway.
Okay, nothing further for Officer Beach, Your Honor?
Now, you're entitled to what's called recross examination, but you have to restrict your questions to the topics that she brought up. So basically, it would be timeline and whether or not the officer actually saw somebody operating the motorcycle. So based on her other questions, do you have any specific questions to that?
No, because I feel like he,
Again, you don't have to tell me why you don't have questions. You just have to say, no questions, Your Honor.
actually, I do have actually, I don't, I really don't have any more questions because,
Okay, and again, you don't have to tell me why. Do you have any questions for this officer?
can I make an objection?
What's your objection?
Well, my objection is that their stories are not matching up to what they're trying to say, their narrative to this.
Okay, so that would not be the basis of an objection, but rather the subject to cross-examination as well as your own testimony. So you can ask the officer questions that you think are relevant to his testimony and what he just said when he was asked the questions by the prosecutor. But again, you'll have the opportunity to give your side of things later.
If that, when we ask questions like that, what is there being a mark to where they're not being real transparent?
Well, I mean, you'll ask the questions, they'll give their answers. If you don't like their answers, then you can further inquire. But ultimately, if you don't believe that they're telling the truth, I'm the one who ultimately make the decision about whether they're telling the truth.
So, my question is, Garber, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing? So, when Officer Beach had initiated your backup, right? You guys were in the store together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why did he need to get a hold of you in the store radio for backup when you're already present?
He did not radio me when we were in the store together.
All right. So when you guys were in the store together, where was I?
In the bathroom.
And was this before or after you guys had stopped me? Supposedly.
Before or after we stopped what?
You guys allegedly stopped me on 21st Street. Was this before or after?
This was before. We did not stop you on 21st Street.
Well, there it is.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Officer Garber, you may step down. Thank you very much, sir. Any additional witnesses on behalf of the state?
No, Your Honor. The state would seek to admit Plaintiff's Exhibit 1, and then the state would rest.
Okay, records reflect the defendant assented. Ms. Yeager, any argument?
Yes, Your Honor. The state believes it has proved beyond a reasonable doubt that on the date in question in the city of Newark and Lincoln County, Ohio, Mr. Messina operated a motorcycle on a public roadway. Officer Beach testified that he saw this motorcycle driving down Church Street at approximately the posted speed limit of 35 miles an hour. He watched a person walk into the speedway from the pump inside and back to the pump, noted what they were wearing, had confirmed already that his initial observation about the no license plate was indeed correct, and he watched the operator pull away. When he went to go after this person to initiate a traffic stop, he lost sight of the motorcycle. He testified that he did not hear a loud acceleration or anything that a motorcycle would make if it was pulling away at a high rate of speed, and radioed to see, hey, can you check the speedway? And Officer Garber located that motorcycle within a minute. And when they located the person who had the motorcycle, he was wearing the same thing that Officer Beach saw from the person who parked at the speedway pump, go inside and come back out. When they approached him, they later identified him as Mr. Messina. In running his information, he did not have a valid license. There was still no plate on the motorcycle, and he still had no motorcycle endorsement. When they inquired about the motorcycle with him, he had said he pushed it. However, I am unaware of anything in the universe that would allow someone to push a motorcycle at 35 miles an hour down the public roadway, not to mention that's still moving it. So, Your Honor, we would ask for a finding of guilt to all three charges today.
All right, now, Mr. Messina, you can't bring up things that weren't testified to by the officers or anything other than the exhibit that was entered into evidence, because at this point, the only evidence the court is going to consider is the testimony and the exhibits. But you get to comment on why you believe the state has failed to meet its burden or why I shouldn't believe certain testimony. So what do you want to say before I make a decision?
What she said was that the officer had lost sight of the guy, right? that was operating. So they didn't have full sight of this man that was supposedly allegedly riding and operating a motor vehicle. Because at the time of operation, they said it was on 21st Street when he had issued a citation. But they contradict themselves by saying that they issued the citation in the parking lot. So that to me is, well, fruit of the poisonous tree, because it's the contradiction from what she just said, and it's also it's not consistent. The story's not consistent, and they had not kept operation on and eyes on the individual to know whether or not that was them, and if it was them, why didn't they hit their license plate or their sirens, to initiate a stop, like procedure would say, and therefore I feel that the state does not have any proof of operation. If they initiated and pulled him out of the speedway, right, and gave him a citation, he wasn't operating a motor vehicle. He was in a store as a citizen.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Messina. I appreciate your argument. So I think the court may have heard the testimony a little bit differently from the defendant. I could tell a distinct, comprehensive narrative. Beach basically was going eastbound on Church Street, passed a motorcycle, looked in his side view, said, hey, that thing doesn't have a license plate, I don't think. Turned around, decided to investigate further, ultimately got up close and personal with it, verified that it didn't have a license plate, and he testified that the individual that they arrested, which was Mr. Messina, was dressed identically to the person who had been operating the motorcycle. There's nothing in the law that says the officers have to have continuous visual contact with the subject. It's important, don't get me wrong. I found somebody not guilty years ago of speeding because it was like, I don't know, it was dark and it was 16 and the officer had to go all the way out to the turnaround at River Road, and in the meantime several cars had gone by and the court just didn't find it credible that they knew he couldn't identify what color the car was. So that's one thing. This one was pretty cut and dry. They saw the motorcycle, they saw the person who was driving it. They ultimately located that individual in the bathroom of the Speedway, identified them as you, and after checking the motorcycle itself for a license plate and the driving records from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles and verifying that there was an active suspension as well as no motorcycle endorsement, they issued their citation. A lot of what the defense is focusing on, I think, are details that, there are small discrepancies in almost every case. But I do feel that the state has met its burden here. Now, in a minute, I'm going to explain to you how you can appeal my verdict of guilty and any sentence that I impose. But for now, you have a right to comment on sentencing, not guilt or innocence. I know you disagree with my decision there. That's what the Court of Appeals is for. But as it relates to the sentence, is there anything you want to say? Like, well, Judge, take it easy on me. I don't have any money, or hey, I don't know what you do. I'm loaded.
I appeared on my arraignment. I appeared here, and you asked me if I would plead guilty or not guilty, and I said not guilty. And you said, well, it's not a jailable offense.
Right.
Right. And also, the FRA suspension. Mm-hmm. Now, where's the FRA suspension financial responsibility coming from?
I don't know. You'd have to check with the BMV about that. Ms. Yeager, did the state wish to be heard regarding sentencing?
Your Honor, we would defer to the court's wisdom today.
Okay. All right. Okay. Are you employed?
No.
Okay. Do you receive disability benefits?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you do before you got hurt?
I was working at Tree Sodas, a menu climber.
What was the name of it?
I can't, it's German, I can't pronounce it.
Asplund?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's how you spell it. I think it is. Or say it.
Asplunda, or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do today, Mr. Messina. On the FRA suspension, a $200 fine and costs, $100 on the no license or motorcycle endorsement, $25 on the plates. Now, as I mentioned, you have the right to appeal my verdicts finding you guilty, as well as these fines and costs that I've just imposed. You have a right to file a notice of appeal within 30 days of today's date. You have a right to pay for a transcript of our hearing today and any other relevant hearings. And you also have the right to hire an attorney to represent you during your appeal. But for the same reason you weren't entitled to free counsel here at this level, you're not entitled to free counsel on the appeal. If you decide you want to take it up, I would strongly recommend that you consult with an attorney, if not hire one. It's a much more difficult and detailed and exacting process. I was able to understand your arguments and everything else that you were making, but the Court of Appeals, who knows? Do you have any other questions today?
I can't just make one more statement.
Well, I was going to say, do you
All right,
have,
yeah, so I don't see how I could be charged with this, being that,
well, at this point, I tell you what, let me cut you off because I know that we've
Okay.
got other cases we've got to take care of. If you still have issues, the Court of Appeals is where you want to go. Anything further, Ms. Shaker?
No, you're all right.
All right, very well. That'll be all.
all right,
Good luck to you, Mr. Messina.
thank you.
Have a good day.
I winged it a little bit, but I tried.
That's why we're here. Everybody gets their day in court.
All right.
In the end, after hearing all the testimony and arguments, the judge made his decision clear. The defendant tried to expose contradictions in the officer's story, but the court found the officer's testimony, the timeline, and the records credible enough to prove all 3 charges. The result? 3 guilty verdicts and financial penalties. But the story didn't end there. The judge reminded him that if he disagreed with the ruling, his next step was the Court of Appeals. What started as a simple traffic stop turned into a full courtroom showdown, and the defendant walked away with 3 convictions.